Hey, Scott Grove here, and I want to talk about fire safety. I know this doesn't really have anything to do with veneer, but it's just general good practice, and seems like every year I got a buddy whose shop burns down. It happened to me 30 years ago, so it's really devastating when that happens, and I just want to review with you what I do. Clearly, it would be great if I had sprinklers and all that kind of stuff, but that's an expensive system, and I've never owned it and can't afford it. So instead of that, what can you do? Smoke alarms are great. My situation is I have a shop and my house is across the driveway. So again, if you could afford it, paying for a system that calls the fire department or a service, that would be great. But again, it's a pricey thing, probably a smart thing to do, but I've never done it. So smoke alarms are good. Of course, if they go off in the shop and I'm in the house, can't hear it. In addition, I have these smoke detectors, but they keep going off because of the dust in the air, and I also have a wood burning stove, which is of a concern, and that creates smoke, so these things keep going off. So what do you do about that? So a finishing instructor told me about this one. They do this with their sprinkler heads. Instead of leaving them because they get gummed up with overspray, they actually put plastic bags around them. The theory being, if there's a fire, it will melt the plastic away and then pop the smoke detector or the sprinkler. He also said put these in plastic bags, but I think these are kind of thick, so I just take my smoke detectors and wrap them in cellophane. Now, that doesn't make them a smoke detector, and yes, it is greatly delaying the effectiveness of it, but at least they're gonna work because I can't just have them. In addition, I have these wireless smoke detectors, so I have one in the house, so if it goes off in the shop, at least it fires in the house and wakes me up or it lets me know that there's gonna be a fire. This is a Kitty wireless smoke detector, so that's sort of the first good thing of defense. But again, if some of you may know, if there's a fire, it's going to go pretty quick. And the idea is at least you want to try to slow it down. So what do? You can buy these bombs. These are sort of fire suppressant bombs. When they heat up, I don't know what the temperature is. Doesn't say off. 70 degrees. That can't be right. It might go off in the middle of the summer, but it hasn't yet. I don't think that's the right temperature. But the idea is that you could throw this into a fire, or I have them hanging all around the shop in critical areas. I've got one right over here over my flame containers. And what this does is it explodes, sort of suppresses the fire a little bit. They also put out a really loud bang. So that's another sort of idea, is that maybe you'd hear it if you start hearing these bangs. If it's not the neighbor shooting off his guns, then maybe there's a fire and I'd come out and check it. So that's good. You can also get really little ones. I don't think these bang or anything. I've got ones here and I got one magnetic one here. Same sort of thing. Heats up and this just dumps a fire suppressant chemical. So I've got these like over my stereo. Let's think about the places that you have fires. That's the other issue, is usually it's electrical or sort of rags. Those are usually the two causes that I know. Sometimes sparks. I know someone had a fire by grinding and the shot of spark went under the bench and just smoldered. They went away, 4 hours later, started a fire. So that would be another thing. So you always got to be aware of potential. A lot of times it's oily rags and what have you. So ideally you'd want one of these buckets that keeps the air out and will suppress the fire. Can't start a fire in there. If you can't afford one of these, I always buy these at auctions too. Just a metal trash can with a lid, and you can throw your rag in there. When I work with oil, I get very paranoid. I usually have a bucket that I throw with water in. I just throw them in there, and I might then, if I want to lay these out to dry out, or throw them on the floor. It's usually when they're in tight rags. I had a job 40 years ago that I was doing an oil job, left an oily rag. It smoldered and burned a hole right through the floor and dropped into the basement. So it does happen. Solvents is good to have, sort of these fire containers for solvents. These are good too. And fire cabinets to keep all your flammable material in. So I buy these, and again, these are really expensive. I just get them at auctions. These are sort of certified. I've got a number of them. And if you can't do that, then just get a metal cabinet. Again, this is not professional advice, but it's better than nothing. It's better than a wooden cabinet. So I have a couple metal cabinets for my aerosols, and then all my lacquers and things like that I keep in a certified fire cabinet. So yeah, fire safety, big thing. That's sort of what I do. Love to hear if you guys got some better suggestions. I'm sure I'm not up on the technology, so if there's something better out there, boy, that'd be great. I imagine there'd be some sort of lasers kind of thing. But another fire protection gizmo. This is a fire extinguisher that has a sort of head on it like a sprinkler system. As you can see, I've got my flue that comes through the floor and up to the ceiling. And this is a much bigger fire extinguisher, and it has a sprinkler head on it. So that is aimed at the flue. So if there's a fire in this area, at least that would unload. And I have a smoke detector wrapped with plastic, and that hopefully would alert me. And I got one more tip downstairs. And obviously having plenty of fire extinguishers everywhere at entrances is a great idea. I've got a couple here and 2 down there, and I got plenty around. In fact, I used this big boy last year when we had a fire. But the tip here is a lot of times your chargers, this is sort of my charging station, and if you leave these plugged in, I've heard of fires, these causing fires, not necessarily Milwaukee, but I've heard of these chargers starting fires. So what I do is I have this entire system hooked up to a plug over here, and that's on a timer. So when I want to charge these, I turn this on. That will turn this whole thing on there. You can see the lights go on, and it'll stay on for only a couple hours, so I don't leave it on overnight. So that's that. And all my bombs that I mentioned over the stereo and over this area here. So even got another extra one there that I might have to throw at something. So fire's no accident. Okay. Yeah, stay safe. Let me know if you got any other suggestions on fire safety. It'd be a really good place for us to share that thing, because it's devastating when it happens. And yeah, so stay safe, subscribe, like, comment on this one. I want to see what you guys think of. Okay, thanks. Bye.